Mark. I'm John. This is Warren, my partner.
Oh, you're gonna be trouble.
Mark joins a gay rugby team in London, eager to become a solid player and gain a sense of belonging. He's quiet, observant, and carrying the emotional weight of a long-term relationship with his boyfriend, Richard, a man who is financially supportive but emotionally distant. Mark spends more time at the club than at home, and his dissatisfaction is quietly growing. Warren is already a key figure on the team, confident, charismatic, and socially embedded. He's been with his partner John for over a decade. Though Warren gives off the air of stability, there are cracks in his personal life. When Mark and Warren meet, there's no immediate spark, but over time, a connection begins to brew, especially after a weekend away with the team. That weekend trip becomes the catalyst. During a night of heavy drinking, the two share a brief, impulsive kiss. It's messy and sudden. Not romantic, but fueled by tension and suppressed emotion. They both recoil, almost brushing it off as a drunken mistake. But what was supposed to be forgettable lingers heavily. The days that follow only amplify the chemistry. They exchange awkward glances during practice. Their conversations become more charged, and the distance they try to maintain becomes more noticeable than closeness. One evening, unable to resist, they meet again.
Felt bad about not doing it before. I didn't really like how things were left.
And sleep together. The affair begins under the cover of secrecy. They make sure never to show any affection in front of teammates, though it becomes harder each day. Mark begins lying to Richard, telling him he has more practice sessions and games than he actually does. Richard, while not exactly attentive, senses something is off. Warren, too, starts to grow distant from his partner John. Unlike Richard, John is kind and present. But Warren feels emotionally disconnected.
Yeah, no, I should probably head off too, actually.
Oh, come on, Mark. No, he was just moaning that he was starving. Well, where are you thinking?
Guilt begins to weigh on both men, yet they can't stay away from each other. The affair becomes an addiction, passionate, emotionally consuming, but increasingly destructive. As the rugby season progresses, their personal entanglement starts to affect the team. Mark and Warren struggle to separate their emotions from the game. They miss passes, fumble plays, and their tension on the field becomes apparent. Their teammates begin noticing, especially Henry, Warren's close friend, who starts to put the pieces together.
Oh, look, it's anywhere else but here.
Hey, just hold this for a second, please. No, come on.
The club begins preparing for an important match. Mark is under pressure to perform and is simultaneously being pulled apart by guilt. One night after practice, he returns home to find Richard frustrated, having cooked dinner for two, again. Richard confronts him, accusing him of being emotionally unavailable.
I can't believe you've fucking done this. You're overreacting.
Mark doesn't deny it, but also doesn't confess anything. In another scene, Warren sits across from John at a quiet restaurant. John talks about their plans, their future. Warren listens, but can barely respond. He's physically present, but emotionally distant. The weight of his betrayal is starting to crack his composed exterior. Back at the club, things come to a head. During a training session, Warren snaps at a teammate. Mark intervenes, and the tension explodes. The coach takes notice. Henry later corners Mark in the locker room, asking if something's going on. Mark denies it, poorly.
Are you gonna say anything?
Meanwhile, Richard, increasingly suspicious, finds a rugby event on Mark's calendar that doesn't exist. He confronts Mark again, more aggressively this time. Mark deflects, accuses Richard of being cold and controlling. The fight ends with Richard storming out. The affair, however, only deepens. Mark and Warren rent hotel rooms, escape on weekends under the guise of team-building trips, and tell lie after lie. But the cost is mounting. They've become emotionally volatile, constantly jealous, paranoid, and unsure of where this is going. Warren begins pulling away, claiming the guilt is becoming unbearable. Mark begs him not to stop. The push and pull continues, a cycle of passion and regret. At one point, Mark tells Warren he's falling in love. The team is chosen to play in a major tournament abroad. The stress builds. A few teammates now strongly suspect what's going on. Gossip starts circling. During a drunken night out, one player jokingly asks Warren if he's shagging the new guy. Warren brushes it off, but Mark freezes. Tensions erupt when Henry finally confronts Warren in private. He tells him he knows everything: the secret trips, the missed practices, the drama on the field. He warns Warren that if he doesn't come clean, the entire team will implode. Warren stays silent. Mark, meanwhile, is spiraling. He breaks down in front of a teammate, almost revealing the affair. He tries to talk to Warren, who starts to avoid him. Mark grows desperate. He follows Warren after practice and confronts him at his home, where John is inside. Warren tells him to leave. Mark, furious and heartbroken, walks away. At the next game, the entire team is uneasy. The match goes poorly. Afterward, the coach reprimands them all. Warren is benched. Mark is visibly distraught. That night, Mark confesses everything to Richard: the affair, the lies, the emotional detachment. Richard, devastated, tells him to leave.
I've made up a bed in the spare room for you. You can pack your things in the morning.
John doesn't confront him. He just walks past him in silence, his expression heavy with knowing. The space between them speaks louder than any argument. Warren breaks down for the first time. In the aftermath, both couples fall apart. Mark moves out and crashes with a teammate. Warren isolates himself from the club. The two don't speak for weeks. The rugby team tries to recover from the drama, but the damage is done. Players are divided. Trust has eroded. Eventually, Mark and Warren meet one last time at a quiet cafe. They talk. No anger, no desperation. Just quiet sadness. Mark asks, "Was any of it real?" Warren replies, "Too real." They admit that they weren't ready for the fallout, and they hurt everyone they claim to care about. There's no reunion, no romantic resolution. They walk out of the cafe separately. In the closing moments, Mark watches a practice from afar. He's no longer part of the team. Warren, too, isn't seen on the field. The world moves on. The team rebuilds, but the scars remain.
You never really understood how we used to win, did you? Well, it was never about being the best.
Mark stares at the pitch, as if searching for something lost, or perhaps trying to remember how it all began.